Hello to you all again. Erica McClincy, ACSW here. I just wanted to check back in again today and say hello to everyone. I just got back from a walk this evening. It's a little dark and chilly out here, but it's pretty nice to be outside, especially in the midst of everything that's going on. So, decided to go for a little walk when I got home from work. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about my experience today because I imagine that it's probably at least somewhat similar to what some of you guys are experiencing and going through. Maybe not the same things. I definitely have some quirks, but I think that there are some similarities in the way we probably respond to things. I think we got my kitty behind here. He's licking the screen on the front window of the house. I think he's adding his commentary. Anyway, one of the things that I noticed today when I was um, at work and when I took my lunch break was that I had um, heard that some of the restaurants were starting to close down, and that definitely made me anxious. Not because I like to eat, well, I do like to eat, but not so much because I like to eat, but because it's one of my comfort things. Going out is one of my comfort things. Um, Something that let's see, how would I? Well, I guess I could say it's a coping mechanism. Whenever I've had a difficult day, I like to go out. I will go sometimes to get something to drink somewhere. I like to go to Starbucks. Sometimes I'll get a diet soda, which I know isn't good for me, but I'll do that. And that's something that's become kind of a coping skill for me. And another thing that's kind of a coping skill that I realized yesterday was going and walking around where there's people, walking around in stores or something of the sort. Not so much shopping, but just being out and around and looking at things is something that I enjoy doing. So I realized yesterday I became very familiar with that as one of my coping skills because I was in Michael's Arts and Crafts and I was walking around and I overheard one of the employees saying that they weren't sure yet, but they thought they were going to be closing the stores. And I noticed, uh-oh, I kind of got this like sense of what am I going to do? This is definitely an anxiety evoking time. And one of the things that I rely on, being able to walk around my favorite stores, is about ready to be gone. And so I decided, you know what? I need to get a coloring book because that coping mechanism is going to be gone. So I need to get my coloring book so I can color and I can do the things that that I can rely on at home. And so I rushed to the other craft store and I did get myself a coloring book and markers. And I think the store's still open today. But that is a good example of, I guess, the panic buying that I was talking about in the first video. Um, I guess what I'm trying to say is things like my liking to go to Starbucks, things like my enjoyment of walking around stores. We all have these things that we do that we may not be entirely aware of what they are until they're taken from us. And I think that a lot of us are probably experiencing that in different ways right now. And maybe you're not entirely sure what it is that's causing your discomfort right now, but if you're feeling um, kind of like you're left without anything, if you're feeling like you're hanging out there all on your own, then you're probably experiencing some of what I was the last couple of days. And it's hard. And it does bring a lot of awareness to the things that we rely on when they're not available. And so I just want to encourage you, even though it's hard, even though you can't go ahead and grab those things back, even though you can't, change the way that things are right now, you can be aware of it and you can kind of smile at yourself when you notice those things. Like, I'm making this video, I'm sharing with you what my kind of coping mechanisms are, even though they make me feel a little bit silly, but bringing my awareness to them and thinking about them and thinking about the fact that I don't have them right now somehow brings a little bit of peace and understanding where my discomfort comes from. I can think, okay, so I can't go to the stores. but I do have this coloring book and I can color now. So I can use that to deal with this anxiety in place of what I used to do. And some of our coping skills are not the healthiest anyway. We might want to look at them and change them. So in other times, that's taking a look at the things that we use to deal with our stress is healthy. But in this event, we don't really have that choice. We just kind of have to deal with it. If it's gone, it's gone, whether it's healthy or not, and we have to figure out something else. So I encourage you to kind of embrace that as you start to see things when they're not available to you. If you start to see, gosh, I really needed this, but it's not here. I really needed to be able to do this, but I really can't now. I can't go to the movies with my friends. My child is home from school, and I rely on that as a constant, for my child and for myself at work. Just any number of these things can be really difficult to deal with, and it can be overwhelming when there's multiple of them at a time. But I encourage you to think about, maybe with a little bit of humor and a little bit of self-compassion, look at your own situation right now and determine what those things are. Maybe share them with someone that you care about, share them with someone you trust, and help each other to get through this time. Maybe help each other to figure out what you can do in place of that, to kind of help deal with those uncomfortable feelings. And we're all doing this together. You're not alone. And I just encourage you to continue to seek your support and take good care of yourself. Be kind to yourself and don't beat yourself up. And I hope to talk to you all again soon. Take care. Good night.